Hi, third graders. My name is Shelby. Thank you so much for being at school today. I'm really excited to be recording this video for you. I'm really excited to read our book. I think that you're all really going to like it. But thank you so much for being at school today. As you've probably heard 1,000 times, it is so important to be at school when you can because it's important for you to be there so you can learn new things and you can stay on track and caught up with all the schoolwork so you can get your homework done and also so you can see your friends and your teachers because that's really important as well because I'm sure they also are really excited to see you too. So today, before I dive into our book, we're going to be talking about communities, and I just want to take a second to ask you guys if any of you know what a community is, and if your teacher just wants to pause the video at this moment so a few of you can share what you think a community is, that would be awesome, and feel free to unpause whenever you're done. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much to those of you who shared. I'm sure you guys all had great answers. I really wish I was there myself so I could hear them, but that's okay. So I'll just go over what a community is, and a community, they can come in all shapes and sizes. So you can have very small communities like the neighborhood that you live in, or really large communities like Omaha. And a community is basically a group of people that are united by something. So if you are part of like a dance community, dance something that unites you. Another way that this could be is school, because you're all there to learn. So learning and school would be something that's uniting all of you together into that community. Even just like your sports team, if you play basketball or soccer or volleyball, you're united by the sport that you're playing, and that's also a small community of its own. Even the workplace would be a community because you're all kind of there to get the same job done. So that's basically what a community is, and so our book is about communities today. Before I get into our book, though, I just want to share with you a community that I belong to. So I would say a community that I belong to is Partnership for Kids because I do work there, and we're all there to help bring these book buddies to you and bring goal buddies to you. So that is a community that I belong to. So after we've shared a little bit, I want to just dive on into our book. I'm sure you guys can all tell I'm really excited to read it to you, but it is called Donovan's Word Jar, and it's by Monalisa DeGross. And there aren't a whole lot of pictures in this, but when there are, I'll turn the book so you can see. And I'm just going to be reading chapters 1 and 2 for you today, but you will get a copy of the book, and you can read the rest of it on your own or with your parents or guardians or with your teacher. So chapter 1 is called Donovan. Donovan Allen enjoyed being like all the other kids in Mrs. Pankey's 3rd grade class. He liked wearing a yellow shirt with brown pants and a button-down sweater, just like the other boys. When the bell rang at the end of the day, he grabbed his book bag and ran for the door, just like the other kids. And just like the other kids, on the days when his mom packed raw broccoli and cauliflower in his lunch, Donovan forgot to eat them. Like most of the kids in his class, Donovan liked to collect things. A few kids in class collected rocks, insects, or stamps. Some other kids collected coins, comics, or baseball cards. Donovan's best friend Eric collected marbles. Eric was always playing with marbles, trading marbles, reading about marbles, and searching for the perfect marble. He kept his marble collection in a leather pouch with his name stamped on it. Donovan's buddy Pooh collected buttons of all shapes and sizes. Pooh kept his button collection pinned to a corkboard in his room. He collected buttons from almost every event he attended. He had buttons from movies, baseball games, and amusement parks. Pooh's favorite button was the one his father had made for him for his birthday. On it was a picture of Pooh, and written around it were the words, "Pooh for President." Pooh kept that button pinned to his bag. But when it came to collecting things, Donovan Allen was different. He had a collection like no one else he knew. Donovan collected words. Yes, words. Chapter 2 is called Donovan's Discovery. It all began one morning at the breakfast table. Donovan was staring at the back of a cereal box when he noticed the word nutrition. Nutrition, he said slowly, and then he said it again. Nutrition. He liked the way the word slid down his tongue and rolled off his lips. This was a word he had never noticed before, and the word made him smile. Mom, Donovan said, watching his mother pack his lunch, do you like the word nutrition? I don't know. I never thought about it before, she answered, dropping a packet of raisins into his lunch bag. Me neither. But guess what? I'm going to start paying extra attention to words from now on. I bet there are trillions of words out there. Words I've never even noticed. On his way to school that morning, Donovan discovered the word ballyhoo blazing across a billboard. Wow, was that there all the time? He asked himself. And the same afternoon, he noticed the word boutique written on the window of his mother's favorite shop. Gee, new words are everywhere, Donovan said. Maybe I should start writing them down. I don't want to forget any of them. That evening, while he was digging around in his father's tool chest, Donovan saw the word pinchers written on a wooden handle. He pulled a strange-looking tool from the chest. It looked like a crab claw, and he laughed. This tool looks like its name, Donovan said. I wonder what it is used for. Pincers. He spelled the word aloud to himself several times so that he would not forget how to spell it. Donovan went up the stairs and into his room, pulled his big dictionary from the shelf, and looked for the word pinchers. It does look like a giant crab claw, Donovan said aloud as he looked at the page. And just like a claw, it can be used to grip things. This is great. From now on, I'm going to write my words down and keep them. And so, Donovan began to collect words. He wrote his words in purple ink on yellow slips of paper. At the end of each day, he put the slips in a large, round glass jar. One day, while Donovan was sitting at his desk putting words into his jar, he saw his little sister, Nikki, peeping around the door. He pretended not to notice her and kept writing down his words. What are you doing that for? Nikki asked, leaning over his shoulder. Doing what? Was all he answered, and he kept on writing. Why are you putting those pieces of paper into that jar? Because I collect words, Donovan said. Why? Because I like the way they sound and I want to keep them. Can I put one in? Nikki asked, reaching over to pick up a slip of paper. No, Nikki, this is my collection and it is private property. I don't want you messing with it. Donovan's voice was firm. Okay, Mr. Meanie, Nikki said, leaving the room. You'd better hurry. It's almost time for dinner. Donovan decided that he would keep his word jar high up on the shelf in his room. He didn't want Nikki snooping around his jar. She might break it, or even worse, take some of his words. All kinds of words went into Donovan's collection. He had big words like profound that made him feel smart. Little words like cuddle warmed his heart. Donovan found that soft words like hush soothed his fears. Silly words like squabble slipped off his tongue and tickled his ears. From somewhere he collected hieroglyphic, a strange word that made him wonder. And just for fun, he added strong words like warrior, words that rang in his ear like thunder. Donovan put mysterious-sounding words like extraterrestrial into his collection. And there were musical-sounding words like orchestral. Collecting words was fun. They were everywhere. One sunny Sunday afternoon, Donovan found the word solidarity marching in a parade. He smiled at the men in their bright green uniforms and wrote the word down. Later that same afternoon, the word Zeppelin floated high in the sky, written on a silver balloon. But Donovan's favorite way of collecting words was from people. People on the street corners, people in the stores, people in the park, the people he heard on the radio, the people he saw on TV. Everywhere Donovan went, he listened, and he scribbled down new words. Donovan collected so many words that his jar was jam-packed, filled to the brim, almost spilling over the rim with words, words, and more words. Okay, so I hope you guys got a really good glimpse at what our book is about. So Donovan is someone who collects a lot of words that he hears or sees around where he lives, or the stores he goes to, or school. After we read the first 2 chapters, I just want to ask you guys some questions. So, what community did we see in the book, and how do we know it was a community? So, if your teacher could just pause the video for a second and call on a few students to share what community they saw in the book and how you know it was a community, that would be great. And just pause when you are finished calling on students and people are done sharing. Okay, well, thank you so much to those of you who shared. I'm sure that you guys all had great ideas and great thoughts. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there to hear them myself, but I'm sure you guys all had amazing thoughts. So a community that I saw in the book was how a lot of the students all collected things as well. So just the fact that all the other kids had collections, it kind of brought them together as one big community of, I would say, collectors would be one. Another community I saw in the book was school. Because the book did start off while he was at school, talking about the people that were collecting things and things like that. Another collection could be even the neighborhood that Donovan is in, because he said that wherever he goes, he listens. And I have to believe that a lot of the places that he's at are in his neighborhood, like the store. You usually go to a store that's kind of close to where you live, things like that. So just to engage you guys a little more, the community that I belong to for school is the University of Nebraska at Omaha. So I am still in college and I graduate in May. So that is one of my communities as well. My community is being with all my other fellow students. Even though there's a lot of us, we are still a community. Another community that I am part of is Omaha. I do live here, so this is also my community as well as yours. You guys all live in Omaha as well, so we share community. And even Nebraska is a community as well, the state. So we have a community with our whole state. And then we're going to get even bigger here. We're going to go the United States. That's even a community. So we're just going to keep growing bigger and bigger. And the last community that we all belong to, if anyone could take a second and think in your head what it's going to be, it is Earth. We are all in one big community of Earth. So yeah, those are some communities, and also a school that you would belong to. Your school is also your community wherever you go. Even your classroom is part of your community as well. So I hope that you all enjoyed our book and enjoyed learning about communities. I hope that you guys learned a little something about it. And I hope that you're all really excited to keep on reading Donovan's word jar. It does get more interesting with his jar. So go ahead and crack that open whenever you have free reading. I'm sure that you guys would really enjoy it. Thank you so much again, third graders, for being at school and for watching my recording and for listening to me read. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.